everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. Remember that post we did a while back, the one about that French concept, Savoir-Vivre
The
française?
art of living well together.
Right, exactly. Well, we thought it was time for a deep dive. What does it really mean to practice this savoir-vivre in France today? We're going beyond the basic etiquette stuff.
Totally. More than just which fork to use, although that's definitely part of it. But it goes way deeper, right? It's so ingrained in French culture. We want to figure out why.
Right. And we'll be drawing on an interesting source for this from Cours, Laurent, Paris. They made a point that really struck me. This whole savoir-vivre thing isn't some new trend. It has roots going way back, like to the royal court.
It's true. Back then, those codes of conduct were like essential for the whole courtly life. Managing relationships, showing respect, all that.
And how has that evolved? I mean, we're not exactly bowing to kings and queens anymore. So what does it mean for us, for people living in today's world?
That's what's so interesting. It's like less rigid now. You know, you don't have to follow strict dress codes in most situations. But that core idea, that respect for others, the politeness, it's still central, absolutely key for navigating French society.
So let's get into some examples. How does this play out in everyday life?
Let's start with something as simple as saying hello.
Okay, so like bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour, au revoir. Those aren't just empty phrases. They're seen as like essential acknowledgments. You know, you're acknowledging another person's presence. Even just a quick bonjour when you walk into a shop shows respect.
Right. And then there's the whole bice thing.
Ah, the cheek kiss.
It always seems so uniquely French to me. And our source even mentioned that there are regional differences, right? Like how many kisses, which side to start on. It's like a whole secret code.
It is. It's a way of establishing familiarity, a social connection.
Yeah.
And those regional variations, it's like they add another layer of meaning, subtle cues about customs and closeness depending on where you are. And of course, then we get to table manners.
Ooh, that always feels a bit like a minefield, you know? All those rules. But our source suggested it's not quite so strict nowadays.
It's more about the shared experience, the enjoyment of the meal, conviviality, waiting for everyone to be served, not interrupting, showing appreciation for the food. These things create a positive atmosphere for everyone.
I like that. It's not just about rules, but about creating a nice experience for everybody.
Exactly. And when you're out in public spaces, it's all about being discreet and considerate.
So like not blasting music on your phone.
Yeah. Or, respecting personal space and lines, not trying to push ahead. It's all about thinking of others, minimizing your impact on them. It's like a collective respect for the shared environment.
And what about if you're invited to someone's home? Are there specific expectations?
Definitely. Responding to the invitation promptly is important. It shows you appreciate the effort the host has put in.
Okay, so don't leave them hanging.
Right. Punctuality is generally appreciated, although a small courtesy delay can be acceptable in social settings. And of course, a sincere thank you afterwards is a must.
All of these seem to boil down to basic consideration, really.
Exactly. But the source also talked about communication itself.
Like what you actually say.
Exactly. The French really value politeness in communication. Using polite formulas, adapting your language to who you're talking to, truly listening when someone else is speaking, and avoiding sensitive or controversial topics in casual conversation. It's all about thoughtful, respectful communication.
So savoir-vivre affects how you speak, too.
Absolutely. And speaking of the modern world, the article also mentioned some challenges that savoir-vivre faces today.
Like what?
Well, globalization and the rise of digital communication are definitely having an impact. Different cultures have different communication norms.
So what works in one place might not work somewhere else.
Exactly. And online interactions can sometimes be less formal, which can lead to misunderstandings.
That makes sense in our increasingly interconnected world. What else?
Well, there's a risk that savoir-vivre can be seen as, outdated.
Too old-fashioned.
Yeah, but it's not about blindly following old rules. It's about adapting those core principles of respect and consideration to modern life. It's about building positive relationships. And of course, discussions about equality and inclusion are also shaping what's considered appropriate in social settings.
It's constantly evolving.
Exactly. So for all of you listening, what's the key takeaway about Savoir-Vivre à la française? It's about prioritizing respect, courtesy, and the art of living well together. Those core values are at the heart of it all, even as the specific ways they're expressed may change over time.
And that brings us back to you, our listeners. Think about your own experiences in different social settings. How does this idea of a culturally specific art of living together resonate with you? Food for thought. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.